Welcome to the Wrestling Replay. I am Kato here with your Monday Night Raw replay of the week. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day and is excited as I am about the Survivor Series pay-per-view that's coming up. That's been one of my favorite pay-per-views since I can remember. Even though things has pretty much changed about how they do things with Survivor Series, with it being brand versus brand and it being about brand supremacy, it still has been one of my favorites, and I think they can actually work to make this pay-per-view a little bit better by just changing some of the stipulations in the Survivor Series match, right? How about they do a 5-on-5 like normal, but that winning team gets to have a fatal five-way match later that night at the pay-per-view or the next day on their respective brand shows, and the winner of that fatal five-way gets a world title shot at the next pay-per-view or at Royal Rumble. I think that would give teams more incentives to not only work together but actually care about winning and not being eliminated from this match because they can have because they have potential to go on to possibly earn themselves a world title shot. I think that's what these teams need, is just pretty much some more motivation, and that could not be any more right when we start to look at this Raw team on the men's and women's side. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into Monday Night Raw. We had Lana asking to team up with the tag team champs to pretty much prove that, hey, I belong in this Raw women's team. I can pull my own weight. Just give me a chance. So it'll be Lana, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler versus Asuka, Mandy Rose, and Dana Brooke. Now, Lana tried to help Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose last week. That didn't pan out too well. So now she's going to try her luck with the tag team champions to prove her that she belongs once again. Only problem with Lana is the fact that Nia Jax and Baszler pretty much said, look, under no circumstance do you tag yourself inside this match. So Lana doesn't agree, but she kind of understands. The match kicks off, and we had Shayna Baszler actually going crazy. Mandy Rose is injured again. I don't know if this was a serious injury, but it looked like she re-aggravated the injury that she had last week when she left out after they had the big brawl. She ended up leaving and going to the back, which pretty much left Dana Brooke and Asuka in a 2-on-3 handicap match versus Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, and Lana. Now, Dana Brooke, was also hurt inside the match by Shayna Baszler again. That pretty much left Asuka in a 1-on-3 situation while Dana Brooke was outside the ring trying to get herself together. Now, Baszler seen this as a perfect opportunity to take advantage. She locked Asuka into that Kari Fury clutch, and she actually had Asuka passing out. It looked like Baszler was on the way to winning the match for her team when Lana tags herself in, and Baszler has to exit the ring. Lana hits a split kick on Asuka. Asuka's almost nearly passed out anyway. She goes to cover her for a pin. Only a 2 count. Only a 2 count. Asuka kicks out, and you know what happens after that. Lana shortly after finds herself tapping out to that Asuka lock and had no help from Nia Jax or Shayna Baszler. They just watched her at the apron pretty much tap out and lose the match for their team. Now, as we know, Lana has been going through the table week after week after week. I understand that they're trying to build Lana into this ultimate babyface. I don't think this is the way to do it. I do think this is a way to build a babyface. Someone coming in like Rhea Ripley, maybe Charlotte Flair come back and pretty much save Lana from constantly being bullied and beat up by Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. But this week, nonetheless, Lana goes through the table one more time. So shortly after the match, we had Dana Brooke backstage giving an update on Mandy Rose's health when she was attacked by Reckoning and pretty much thrown into the case some crates, and she has been removed from the Survivor Series tag team match for her team. So it looked like Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke is out, and we will have Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans to replace them for the Survivor Series team. Now, I don't see how these women are going to win. The SmackDown team seem like they're all on the same track. They at least so far have 3 women that don't mind being together, don't mind being on the same team, 2 of which are actually a tag team themselves, and Bianca Belair, who's up and coming, looking to prove herself against any competition possible. So this Raw's team looks really shaky coming into the Survivor Series pay-per-view, but we'll have to see exactly how they fared this Sunday. But let's go ahead and stay on this Survivor Series team and roll over to the men's side, all right? We had Retribution going against Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, and Sheamus. This was an idea by AJ Styles to say, hey, look, let's build some chemistry. Let's get some momentum going forward into the pay-per-view so we can possibly go into the pay-per-view in our best shape, you know, so we can actually go and look like a real team. That's all on the same page. Great idea. Now on paper, this is a dominant Raw's team. When you have guys like Strowman and Keith Lee and Sheamus, these are some of the bigger guys in the WWE right now, some of the more dominant guys in the WWE. You have up-and-comer like Riddle. You have a champion like AJ Styles. All on one team. You have to think this team is a shoe-in to actually go into the pay-per-view and win with no issues. Only problem is this team cannot stay out of its own way. And that showed again tonight when everything pretty much fell apart for the Raw's team. We had Braun Strowman and Sheamus getting into it again, which led into an argument with AJ Styles. AJ Styles getting pushed over on the ringside as being the captain of the team. It kind of looks bad. Keith Lee saved the team a little bit. He had a great offensive burst. He got into the ring and looked like he was actually ready to set up a spirit bomb, but Sheamus blind tagged himself into the ring. Strowman did the same thing seconds after Sheamus did. Sheamus being upset, he actually stopped Braun Strowman from hitting that power slam and possibly ending the match for their team, getting the victory. So with that happening and the team arguing, it allowed Ali to actually roll up Riddle for the win, and Retribution has 2 wins in a row. Ali managed to beat Ricochet last week, and this week he managed to get the win for his team against the Raw Survivor Series team. So it's clear to me that the women's team and the men's team on paper are very dominant, but they have too many issues amongst themselves. And that's going to be a problem, because if you have a SmackDown team that's all on the same page, that could be an issue. I could see something like Strowman actually getting kicked by Sheamus to possibly eliminate Strowman from the team, and probably somebody like Keith Lee and Riddle and AJ to go against the whole team by themselves because of issues within the team. But we have to wait and see what's going to happen in Survivor Series. All right, next we're going to go ahead and get into the Raw Tag Team Champions. Now, this was actually a great match. We had the New Day going against the Hurt Business. Now, despite the fact that the New Day retained their titles, this was a really good tag team match. And you know what it did? It solidified the Hurt Business as a legit tag team. Not only did they already have a win over the New Day, without the titles being on the line, of course, last week, but this week they came back and they had a really good match. So this is a tag team that should put everyone on notice on that Raw roster that we are legit, and hey, we are possibly future tag team champions. Now, I'm not upset that they lost, because I really want to see New Day and the Street Profits go at it at the Survivor Series. I think that's going to be a hell of a tag team match. It's kind of going to remind me of the Usos and the New Day. I think the Street Profits can pretty much hold up their end of the bargain when they go into this match. I think they're going to still, I think this is going to be one of the matches that could possibly steal the show, because these two teams should be really good and should have really good chemistry. So we'll have to see how that all works out. Now, let's move on to... Now, let's go ahead and move on to a match between Bray Wyatt and The Miz. This is a match that I kind of wish would not have happened. Not that it wasn't a good match. It was actually a really good match, and it showed Bray Wyatt's, the difference between Bray Wyatt and The Fiend. The Fiend is more dominant. He's more about business. His move is, impactful. He's that creepy figure that you don't want to make upset. You're kind of scared to engage with him. But Bray Wyatt, on the other hand, with his new gimmick and his new character, he's kind of that character. You can't tell if he's happy, he's sad. He wants to be a friend, but he'll hurt you in the next second, And the same thing with Alexa Bliss. I believe that's how Alexa Bliss' new role is going to come about. And I can't wait to actually see them in a mixed tag team match some point down the line. But I wish that this match with The Miz did not happen, only for the fact that it kind of eliminate The Miz from possibly cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase later on in the night, because Bray Wyatt pretty much took him out of commission for the evening. And with him doing that, it kind of lost the suspense of what would happen in that Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre match. So Bray Wyatt did pick up the win. He ended up hitting the Sister Abigail And it was pretty cool because you see the side of Alexa Bliss that you never seen before. She was very defensive of Bray Wyatt. Not only did she smack Nikki pre-match because she wanted to get Alexa away from the Fiend, but she actually jumped on John Morrison, who tried to intervene in the match just one too many times, and they both flipped over the railing. And you can see in Bray Wyatt's eyes that when something happened to Alexa Bliss, he tend to lose it a little bit. But ultimately, that's exactly what he needed to ended up putting away the Miz, because shortly after he hit the Sister Abigail, put Miz away for the 3 count. Bray Wyatt goes on to win the match. But I love this interaction with him and Alexa Bliss. I love how protective she was over Bray Wyatt, and I love how affectionate Bray Wyatt was to Alexa Bliss. So I can't wait for them to continue to build onto this story with these two and see where it goes. I just hope Alexa Bliss ultimately gets a dominant role. The same way Bray Wyatt has the Fiend, that he can go to his dominant mode. I wish Alexa Bliss somehow gets that same type of treatment in whatever her secondary character could be. I think that would be a really, really cool idea for them to book it that way. Now, with that being said, we had our WWE Championship match between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Now, Randy Orton, he's coming into this match with a big target on his back with, the Money in the Bank, the Fiend lurking, and now having somebody like Drew McIntyre in front of him, and he cannot afford to look ahead to Survivor Series with Roman Reigns. So, with all that said, this match was really good. You seen the match, you had Drew McIntyre coming out in a kilt and a giant claymore that was given to him by Sheamus, that Sheamus had received from his mother, from McIntyre's mother. That was a family heirloom. So now Drew McIntyre is already coming in, and he's a little more pumped than he's ever been. He's kind of like rejuvenated. With this being the case, you can see McIntyre dominating Orton in the early going. This early onslaught actually caused Randy Orton to try to get pretty much take a 10 count, retain his title, and just walk off in the match. But Adam Pearce came down, he interrupted and said, "Know what? No. New addition to the match, no countouts, no disqualification." So at this point, we know we're definitely going to get a winner. So Randy Orton, he introduced a chair into the match and ringside steps. He used every shortcut he could to try to retain his title. But Drew McIntyre proved to be too much. He hit him with a future chop DDT for a 2 count. He knocked Randy off the ring apron through a table at ringside for another near fall. And then after all the back and forth action, McIntyre was able to hit that Claymore and win back his championship. Now, ultimately, this was the match we wanted to see anyway. I thought this was a WrestleMania quality match that we're going to get at Survivor Series with Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. So with Drew McIntyre being the ultimate face and Roman Reigns right now being the ultimate heel, we should be getting a really big clash between the two at Survivor Series. Now, I've never really been a fan of quick turnaround title changes, but in this case, it actually made sense, So I don't mind it as much. Now, what we do get to see is Randy Orton, he gets to be relieved. No one cost him the title, so I'm not sure exactly what's going to be the route going forward with Randy Orton. Do he go and finish the business with the Fiend, even though the Fiend didn't cost him the title? He can be relieved that he doesn't have to worry about the Money in the Bank and the Miz going after him. And will he want another title shot against Drew McIntyre at the next pay-per-view? I believe will be TLC. So we'll have to really see how all these factors play out. But with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, I believe we've been getting the best version of Drew McIntyre because Randy Orton has been bringing it out of him. In-match quality has been great. Promos have been great. So I'm not even mad that this feud is actually going to be ongoing, because the one issue that Raw has been having is they have let feuds linger, and they're not getting any better. They're actually losing steam, and they're actually dying out to the point that people don't even care about the feud anymore. We just kind of wanted this to be over so we can get those wrestlers into a better situation or a better booking. But in this case, Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, it makes perfect sense to actually keep riding this wave right now because it's working. And now you have the inner workings of the Fiend and the Miz to throw into the equation. So I think it only made it that much better. Now, the Survivor Series team, we got the teams all set. We're waiting on SmackDown to really fill out the rest of their side, but SmackDown appears to be the favorite to win the men's and women tag team matches. But we'll have to wait and see. Nonetheless, this was a great go-home show for Monday Night Raw heading into Survivor Series. It advanced storylines. It definitely built anticipation for the Survivor Series pay-per-view and the matches that's going to take place. Drew McIntyre already invaded SmackDown last week. So him and Roman already have some type of rapport. They already kicked off their storyline and what's going to happen with that. I would love to see Jey Uso somehow get involved in that match and help Roman Reigns come off with the victory. Possibly leaving Drew McIntyre laid out, and The Miz can have another opportunity to cash in. I think that would be a great time for him to cash in. So if that happens, you heard it here first, right? So that about does it for the Monday Night Raw replay of the week. I will definitely leave a full breakdown of the Monday Night Raw show in the description down below, so make sure you check that out. And if you haven't already, please hit the like, subscribe, and comment. And make sure you turn your notifications so that anytime we do drop a video, you'll be the first ones to know. And once we hit that 100 subscriber mark, we will start our monthly giveaway. And to enter that monthly giveaway, once it begins, all you have to do is be a subscriber, like, and comment. The more you like and comment on videos, the more we're going to see your name and the better chance you have of being picked for that monthly giveaway. All right, so you don't want to miss that, guys. I can't wait to get to you with the SmackDown replay, and I'm really pumped for the Survivor Series. So let me know down below what you think about Drew McIntyre once again retaining his title. Let me know what you think about the New Day versus the Street Profits heading into the Survivor Series match. And let me know if you think that this Raw team on the men and women's side are just going to fall apart and flat out lose, or if you think they could pull it together and actually gain a victory over SmackDown. Let me know. DM, drop a comment. I'll make sure to read and respond. All right, I'm Kato. Peace.